As long as I'm not at
Friends and Francis's relation. You're not a relation of hers, you're mine. I'm here to propose a couple of toasts. And the first one is absent friends and family. There are people who plan to fly in from all over the planet, but neglected to inform the Icelandic Volcano Authority. There we go. And then there's Anton and Elmarie, who's spending an uncomfortable weekend in Chelsea at the hospital, and Rene, who's in the Royal Free with a broken ankle. We wish them all a rapid recovery. My second toast is all about Francis. And I suppose I'm equipped with sufficient experience to do the job. After all, we've been an item for plus or minus 54 years.
I remember it well.
Would have been more if you hadn't been involved. Rendering me somewhat intimate with her foibles, frailties, and flaws. During that time, I've recognized that her adoring fan base shares two attitudes about her. The first is, she's a saint.
Yes. And about Halo.
Closely followed by, to put up with him. For the next few minutes, however, you're all duty-bound to put up with me. So, anticipating a vast, synchronized, sharp intake of breath, I can publicly state that, in the words of the late Dick Vosborough, a saint she ain't. And I can sense that right now thoughts of to put up with him are flooding your brain.
Exactly.
Saints don't choose Mitsuko by Ghislaine as their desert island luxury. Somehow I suspect that Mother Teresa wouldn't have approved. But that's the last discretion you're going to hear me breach, because this is a toast, not a roast. And it begins here. No one who knows Franny can doubt her superlative ratings on positive attributes. Now, our children, Jonathan and Deborah, who are here somewhere, will vouch that she's a peerless mum, even though they probably thought differently at the time. And as a ma-in-law, she studiously avoids the stereotypical behaviour, but it's up to Lizzie or Jonathan, that's Jonathan, our son-in-law, to report whether or not she's successful. But most importantly of all, if prompted, Jacob, Joshua, Saskia and Sarah will unanimously, probably raucously, affirm that Granny Franny is nothing short of sensational. Now, I can bear witness, as will so many crammed in here, that she's an enthusiastic supporter of the arts, a discriminating voyager, a bewitching dining companion with a pin-sharp palate, and as some of you are well aware, a bit of a demon in the kitchen. Furthermore, as others here will confirm, she's not a person to cross. When Frances enters battle on behalf of her family, beliefs and values, her Prussian background emerges and you pray she's on your side. So not only is she dutiful, she's also beautiful. And yet, sanctified perfection evades her. May I remind you that St. Francis was a chap.
And he wasn't Jewish.
But she does have a terrible failing. And I know I wasn't going to give any revelations, but I'm now going to reveal this. Our Frances is a disaster in the Atlas department. She is lousy at reading maps. Correction, she's fine at route planning, but at home at a table sitting still. It's a different issue when we're on the move. In rural France, departing the autoroute, heading for some isolated Burgundian watering hole. My navigator enters panic mode, gabbling, "Wait, it's gone! I can't find it! It's on the edge of the map!" I had it a moment ago. It's fallen into the gutter of the atlas. I'm still in Belgium. These are not statements a stressed driver wishes to hear, particularly while manoeuvring an elderly English Grand Tourer onto a left-hand drive Route Nationale, where a merciless coalition of warp speed Citroens and articulated road monsters conspires to elbow Brit drivers into black-fumed oblivion. You also don't want to hear it's on the join of 2 pages, while struggling up the hairpins of Mount Hysteria in an unfamiliar rented Renault with questionable brakes. So, an olive branch to resolve conflicts. Thank you, Henry. And that's why one of the boxes I gave Frances last Sunday, which was a real birthday, contained a sat-nav that covers Britain and continental Europe. And could you guess her response? She spent most of the morning laughing. And if anything, that's the reason that she puts up with me. So, you had my totally impartial account, clearly demonstrating that Frances is cool under pressure, enthusiastic and resourceful, steadfast and cautious, loyal, thrifty, good-humoured, hard-working and wise, leaving me open to the accusation that I've married a Boy Scout. For a moment, imagining Franny to be a Boy Scout, she'd be in the first Ruth Hayman troop. Because Frances has always had a weakness for gurus, especially those who present unconventional, passionate views about life. And most especially those who suggest common, sensible, practical solutions to its problems. Her first and most important guru was Lisa, her mum, passionate about avant-garde painting, tennis and nature. Lisa was a striking and unconventional woman with a view of life more inclined towards cosmopolitan 1920s Berlin and Paris than a rather prim Cape Town. Lisa was born a Berliner, then an illegal Parisian, courtesy of Der Führer, but something of a bohemian at heart. In Cape Town, she married Walter, a dapper Königsberger immigrant who was not a bohemian at heart, produced Franny and David, and settled for 40-odd years in the Cape Peninsula before finally moving up the hill to unexpected contentment in Highgate Village. Then again in Cape Town, there was Rita, mother of the 4 tobacco boys, passionate about liberation politics, art and life itself, who also fired Frances' attitude. In snowy February of 1962, the Edinburgh Castle brought Franny to England, where she was promptly plunged into laboratory analysing ballpoint pen ink in gloomiest Alperton.